All right, everyone, we are live, or we should be. Again, as always, we will check to make sure that's actually the case. I am hyper-caffeinated and ready to go. Always squeeze some lime into your energy drink. Makes it hit harder, man. You can really see the mushrooms on your eyes, man. Anyway, we've got several things to cover today. We have the direction of the nation polling. It's not looking that good. Since 2011, no worse result actually in that polling. Got to talk about Joe Rogan. He's proven me right about him. And we're going to be talking about Eric Swalwell creeping on Bobert and other people and just saying weird shit and getting fang banged, of course. Then we've got that twerking state senator. What the hell's her name again? Tierra Mack. We'll be covering that. And then, of course, Boris Johnson. His several cabinet members have resigned. I think that the writing is on the wall for the Boris Johnson ministry in the UK. I don't think he's going to politically survive this. Good riddance. He has failed his people, and so now he has to pay the consequences. Let's make sure that we're actually live on Rumble and that Rumble Rants is working. Okay, we are live. Is the chat working? Yes, indeed. We've got 3 clanks already by Index 373, Joist BS, and Snookums the Terminator. Thank you all for clanking along. Migu Huntu, clank, 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 fuck Joe Biden. Very succinct. The Happy Plague Doctor, how big should I let my cucumbers get? Depends on what you're using them for. Salad, pickles, you just want a massive-ass cucumber to enter in the county fair? It really depends. I don't see any real difference in flavor when you let them grow huge. Same with zucchini. Some people, they pick them when they're rather small. If you get them to double the normal size you find in the store, I don't really notice a difference. I don't understand why people don't just wait. Maybe disease? I'm not sure. Josh, when will someone hijack Brandon's teleprompter? But there's no purpose to doing so because he will say off-the-wall shit regardless. It would be really, really funny to put something like completely off the wall there, but then, I mean, he'd fuck it up. So he would still be saying something off the wall, but it wouldn't be what you had printed out on the teleprompter. You'd try to get him to say, let's go, Brandon, and he would do the mushmouth thing, and he'd say, oh, so let's, what was I saying? Smartphones? Russia? I am not exactly sure. I mean, it'd make it funny, but unintentionally. You'd be on multiple layers of irony if you ever hacked Biden's teleprompter. Steady Eddie 1983, the moment I saw you were live streaming, I came quicker than Kamala looking for a Senate seat. Or a VP bid. Can you imagine what favors she had to turn and who was getting them? I think that ship has sailed, though. I don't think that she can really peddle that kind of thing anymore. Mary Anderson, greetings from Finland. I'd like to see Finland someday. It looks scenic with all sorts of pine trees and lots of guns, too, which is always nice. Right on the border of Russia. It'd be funny to go to the Russian border in Finland and just laugh at the Russians that are over there. I guess that's fashionable these days. Nora Kramer, Sticks, are you guys getting more sleep? I've got caffeine. I don't need sleep. I've been an insomniac since I was in the single-digit age range, so... As far as having a child, yeah, I mean, it takes a little bit of sleep away, but when you're already sleep deprived on a daily basis, nothing really has changed. We've got people from Twitch piling in as well. And we're already at almost 3 Biden loser units. Actually, I think we just eclipsed that. Yeah, we're above 3 Biden loser units now already. Roy Batty sent $4.99 without a comment. Thank you very much. By the way, that actor was Dutch. Rel 21,000, you're not on Rumble. Yes, actually I am. I am live there. It must be on your end if you're having problems. Rumble Rants is working as well, thankfully, today. Anyway, we'll go to the first news topic. This is significant. Right now, the number of people, this is the RCP aggregate. Links in the description, by the way, for anyone that wants to follow along. Right now, the proportion of the population that thinks that the United States is on the wrong track, this is an aggregate poll from RCP. Monmouth just came in along with Harris, actually, the other day. Not Kamala Harris, though, the Harris polling firm. Right now is 76.4%. The last time that it was around the same, it was 76.5. It was October 15th in 2011. So it's been more than 10 years. At no point in Trump's presidency were things weighted by the public as being as bad as they are right now. This is a dire indicator for the Democrats going into the midterms. And there's no real reason to believe that the reason why people think the country is on the wrong track is going to go away. It's not just people that oppose Biden, by the way, that think that. A lot of these are leftoids that want him to do more. In other words, they want the UBI, they want the free universal health care, they want handouts, basically, but they haven't gotten them. They didn't even get student loan debt forgiveness, not even in the more limited sense that Elizabeth Warren was proposing, 10K, capped at a certain income. They haven't gotten any of these things, mainly because the votes aren't there to deliver them. Joe Biden, therefore, is effectively already a lame duck, and he's suffering from that. And it's not just Biden either. A part of this is, the country at large is not just the Democrats are taking it in the wrong direction. Things are terrible. Some people think the Republicans are the ones doing that, but they still think the country is going into a dire situation. Again, it has been worse in the past in living memory, but only once. It wasn't this bad after January 6th. It wasn't even nearly this bad. 74.9 was what it got to in the middle of 2013. That was a tough time in the Obama presidency. Otherwise, under Trump, for a couple of years, things were actually pretty good. The narrowest that you got, you almost got a positive indicator in June of 2009. Obama just gets elected. First black president, he's made a lot of promises and people gave him a pass. They quickly soured on him, but they never got so sour as things have gotten under Biden, and much quicker as well. You've got to understand the scale, the timeline here. Obama, it took him a couple of years to get to that point. In fact, 4 years, basically. Biden has done it in a year and a half. Alejandro Munoz sent $5 Canadian. Thank you very much. Bootboxin 8. Sticks, I've been asking for a while, but what happened to the Easter Bunny voiceover you did with the chocolate bunny turds? Copyright strike? No, I just took that down because I didn't want anything that could be copyright striked off of my channel. There are a couple of songs there, and that's basically it. Everything else is just me talking, or it's music that I did with Gifts Ungiven. Everything else, slowly over time, I've had, unfortunately, to remove. I probably should have backed it up and put it on a secondary channel. Much like with the Redneck Ralph stories that I did, only one of them actually did I have backed up. That one's on Fat Hawaiian Man, I think. And it is hilarious, but I did two others. I did Jeb Bush birthday party, and then there was the first one, and I haven't heard from them in years. If anybody, by the way, watching this, happened to download the Jeb Bush birthday party Redneck Ralph thing that I did years ago, and you have a file of that in MP3 or whatever, get that to me. Twitter DM me. You will be paid, by the way, for your efforts, assuming that it's actually the file. I will check it first, of course. Beachaz52, any debates coming up? I loved the gun debate. Yes, that was against that moron that keeps bloviating on Twitter. Can't even remember his name. No debates currently scheduled, but there is a pre-recorded bit that I will be doing tomorrow, late at night, my time. It involves a run-up to the midterms with a very well-known individual who I have shouted out before, who a very large number of people have said I should definitely do something with. There are big plans ahead for the midterms involving this individual. I won't spoil it now, but you will see once he gets it uploaded, and I don't know exactly what the timeline for that will be, but that will be literally tomorrow. Not a debate, just a friendly discussion going on his channel first. And then the plan is for me to have a co-host during the midterms. Instead of like the last midterms, I just had a bunch of guests aboard, and that worked fine. I mean, I liked it. The Razorfist was there, Venti, and a few others, Mark Collette. I think Kaufman was there. I can't remember. There were a couple of others. I had 6 people total. This time I intend to just have a co-host. There may be other people aboard, but we'll have to calibrate that beforehand because I don't know what I can do and what I can't do with StreamYard. Gerald Armstrong, I don't understand how people get bamboozled by the Biden regime essentially telling that we are going to lower your quality of life with lack of energy production. Well, if you look at his polling and the right track, wrong track polling, and the congressional generic ballot, people are not bamboozled. Most people are seeing through it. Fowley Pollard, views on the Ukraine situation. I oppose the invasion of Ukraine. That being said, there are no effective good guys or bad guys when you're talking about military or government, number one. I don't feel comfortable with sending hundreds of billions of U.S. taxpayer dollars to Ukraine when we're effectively in a recession, number two. And number three, because of the fog of war, nobody really knows what's going on there anyway. Nobody knows who's winning. I'll get people jumping down my throat because of that. When I say that we don't know who's winning, people who are Russophiles or Ukrainian files will both target me. And it's very, very funny. It's telling. It's basically, it's like I told you so. Lev Polyakov, top of the morning, sent you vid of Bart Oplot, chairman of the Dutch Poultry Union, talking about WEF megacity plan. Too conspiratorial on his part? I'll have to check it out to see. But thank you. Alexander Emelianov, Sticks, will the true identity of Springfield ever be known? Oh, yeah. Yeah, that cock. Clean my cock. Yeah, Springfield. Look up soundboard prank calls, everyone, if you want to go down a rabbit hole and spend literally weeks listening to hilarity. Look up Springfield Pervert. What was it? Georgia Mushroom Man is another good one. That's a fairly new one, actually. Fucking hilarious. The perverted ones are definitely the best. Or the Stillwell Grandma. Stillwell Grandma is really good, especially when she's calling herself. Ridley 20x6. Escaping commie Maryland within the next few months. Here's to one of my favorite content creators, Clank. Good on you for leaving Maryland. Or Maryland, or whatever, however the hell it's pronounced. Gerald Armstrong, get Red Eagle Politics as a guest for the midterms. Yeah, I could contact, but again, we've got to make sure that we can actually have guests if I already have someone on the stream. I'm not 100% sure. Ian Angel, hi Sticks, you should try playing Farming Simulator. It's my favorite game. Also, where can I find your song Far Left Fever? I don't know if I took Far Left Fever down. It might still be up on the main channel. I have to look it up on the channel itself. Can't remember if I took it down. Yeah, I'm not into gaming quite so much these days. If I'm going to do farming stuff, I want to do it in the backyard and do it in real life. The Southern V, longtime fan, Sticks, want to buy land. I live in Texas. It's so high because all these Californians. And the land prices there are still a lot lower than places like Vermont. So yeah, the first news story of the day is that the number of Americans that think the country is on the wrong track is at its second highest in recent memory. And the last time was the height of the Great Recession when Obama was having a lot of problems because people had soured on him. I think the AP scandal had just happened as well at that point, if I remember correctly. I can't remember exactly when that happened. Oh, there's a butterfly here, and the cat is going to try to kill it. Oh, good, it escaped. I tried to kill it the other day, too. Yeah, Purple Donatello is pointing out something important, which is that Swalwell's Chicom girlfriend, the one who was cheating on his wife with, she died in a car crash not long after. That is apparently true. Yeah, Salty Keldian. Sounds rather convenient. Yeah, it's interesting how that always happens to people in politics. Oh, there's a scandal going on? Well, someone deeply connected to it just happens to have just fucked off and died. Interesting. Anyway, we'll talk about Boris Johnson next. Let me check Rumble here as well. I got to switch back and forth between tabs because I've only got one screen at the moment. I should probably rectify this in the near future. Huge blow for Boris Johnson as two senior UK government ministers resign. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson was dealt a huge blow on Tuesday when two of his top ministers announced their resignations, saying they could no longer work for the government mired in scandal. Chancellor Rishi Sunak and Health Secretary Sajid Javid, I think that's how it's pronounced, both announced they were quitting in letters posted to Twitter within minutes of each other on Tuesday evening. The public rightly expect government to be conducted properly, competently, and seriously, Sunak said in his resignation letter. I recognize this may be my last ministerial job, but I believe these standards are worth fighting for, and that's why I am resigning. Yeah, okay, so he's lost two more allies within his government. How many more have to leave in order for him to leave too? I hope his government collapses. Now, you look at the alternative. which is basically the fucking Labour Party in the UK. They're even worse. But how is Boris Johnson going to hold things together? He can't even hold his own fucking cabinet together. So he should probably just fuck off and retire and do what other British politicians do. He can go to an island somewhere and boff people half of his age. That seems to be a common theme within the British government. They're all inbred and retarded anyway, so. And it's not like the loss of these particular cabinet ministers means anything. It's just, we'll see the writing on the wall, dude. At some point, you just got to leave. That's the worst part is like the lack of self-awareness that you see from certain people within politics. Everything's crumbling around them. Their ministers or their advisors or whatever, depending on country, are resigning. People fucking hate them and they just won't leave. The same is true of Biden and Kamala Harris. Everyone fucking hates you. It would be best if you would just fuck off. Step down. Let Pelosi be president for a couple of years. I mean, she won't accomplish anything. That'd be hilarious. She'd do an even worse job, and then your party would really be fucked in the ass. Alejandro Munoz, hello, Sticks. 2 years ago, I told you I wanted to get out of Canada over their coof neurosis. I fled to Mexico when Quebec made the syringe mandatory. Total freedom and no chinachu for me. Lol, LMAO. Yeah, also no guns, though, if you're in Mexico. It'd be better to be in Texas or something, I think. Unless you mean New Mexico. They're a fairly liberal state, although getting less so at the moment. Yeah, it was just the 4th of July. I'm allowed to ridicule the British government. Apparently, they deserve the ridicule. Michael Cricklow, do you think Brittany Griner would still be in Russian jail if Trump were president? In her letter to Joe Biden, she said she voted for him. Lol. Fuck around and find out. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. If you're crazy enough to go to Russia, you should probably be aware of the fact that right now there is prevailing anti-American sentiment in Russia. It's sort of like when that dude went to North Korea. I can't remember his name. And he tried to take down a propaganda poster or something like that. And they threw him in jail. They put him in the gulag. And he died. He got very sick, possibly botulism, we're not sure. And he was all fucked up. And then he came back and he died. And people were all mystified. They were all angry about it. It's like, you went to North Korea, dude. You went to a country that is openly hostile towards the United States, and you fucked around while you were there. Same thing here. Who cares? Oh my God, a basketball player is being held in Russia. Who gives a shit? I literally couldn't care less. Let her rot in the gulag. Who cares? Hillary's third nutsack. Oh, mate, you got a license for this here sheet of resignation paper? Yeah, exactly. Yes, Otto Warmbier was the one from North Korea. I mean, I feel sorry for the family and stuff like that. And it's not pleasant to think, hey, your relative got paralyzed in the gulag and suffered for several months and then was a vegetable and then died anyway. I mean, it's not fun, but you went to a tin horn state and you did stupid shit while you were there, knowing that it's a tin horn dictatorship with extreme levels of authoritarianism. When in Rome, you should do as the Romans do. If you're crazy enough to go to North Korea for a vacation, you better be very respectful. No, you should not try to take unauthorized pictures. No, you should. I mean, you shouldn't do these things. You're going to get fucked in the ass. You're going to get put in a gulag. Same with China. Same with many countries. Russia has an authoritarian regime. You go there and you do stupid shit, blatantly violating their laws, regardless of what you think about those laws. You might end up getting put in prison. And a Russian prison is probably not the place that you want to be. Hell, probably worse than a goddamn American prison. And that's saying something. I think the Dutch prison system is downright humane compared to what they would have in Russia. And Russia's worse than the United States, too. I think you'd have to go to a U.S. supermax in a third world state in order to get anywhere near the better Russian prisons. Have you ever seen the Russian MREs? Boy, oh boy. And just think of the Ukrainian ones. I had one of those once. I didn't eat any of the components because they were all fucked up. It's like, I don't know if this is safe to eat. Same with the Kazakh MRE. Although it was novel, wasn't much in it. Other than an enormous amount of tea and sugar. Apparently, that's all people eat over in Kazakhstan is tea with like 5 sleeves of sugar in it. You got a license for that opinion. Yeah, just a second here. Yeah, people talking about Joe Rogan over on Rumble. Rogan's comments about Trump don't shock me, but at the same time, I don't really care. Rogan is a leftist. The fact that he's not screaming bad names at Trump is a huge leap forward. I will be getting into that in a moment. Don't worry. Yeah. Ken Wolf, female hikers taking a trip through Iran. What could go wrong? Yeah, exactly. If you go to a place like Iran or North Korea or something, you better play by the rules because they don't have the defund the police movement over there. And they don't care about the fact that you're a TikTok star either. Mavius Mar on Twitch. Hey, Sticks, have you played City Skylines? I think you would like it more than SimCity 3000. That would be difficult for me to like it more. I have taken a look at the game, and I don't know. I just want another SimCity, really. I wish they would remake Oregon Trail and not that derpy one that they made for what it was, a GameCube or something like that years ago. It was all fucked up. I remember Oregon Trail 2 was one of the greatest games of my formative years, and I wish that they would remake something like that. Mickelvo, congrats to EU for making a positive step in effing ages, declaring gas and nuclear energy as sustainable. Yes, nuclear energy, the EU has declared it green energy, which is true. It requires a lot less fossil fuel than getting oil, coal, natural gas, arguably less than getting the minerals out for making solar cells and windmills as well. It does come with some downsides. You still do need fossil fuel to extract the ore and crush it up and refine it, of course. And then there's the danger of the spent fuel resources being pirated by terrorists or something. But overall, it's better than many other fuel sources. Definitely more efficient. Cold Warrior. I need to knock off these super chats, Dutch riots, normal people doing normal things, and everyone gets to see the hard arm of the law. Yeah, it's interesting. As I said this morning, Americans often think of the Netherlands and similar European countries, and they think of a bunch of fucking hippies and stuff. But the police here have really cracked down. They've been firing live rounds at some of the tractor protesters. By the way, I should point this out. This was fact-checked earlier. Unfortunately, not quickly enough for me to change the morning video on the topic. They have not actually deployed a tank to block roads. Sadly, the farmers do not actually have a Sherman tank. That is apparently old footage from a collector offloading it for a show, and it's been recycled and was put out there. I was very sad to see that they do not have their own killdozer, the farmers. Although they could probably get the construction workers to join them, then all hell breaks loose. You stop the home construction for a couple days in the Netherlands, that'll make the government think twice about what they're doing. Ruins of Metal. Heaven gained an angle. I'm literally screaming. Yes, he was gone too soon. Mad Dog Morgan. Never seen you do so many YouTube videos and all for donations. Get a haircut and get a real job. Why would I want a real job when I can make more doing this? There's no reason to. And then why the hell would I get a haircut so that nobody would want to watch me? My hair is one of my best features. One of the only ones that's actually good. That and the intelligence, I suppose. Don't worry, I have a positive but realistic self-image of my body. You got a license for that license. I don't have a license yet, but I'm not British, so here it doesn't matter. Let's see. Random American 3000 on Twitch. They already had a tractor messing things up. They could do the killdozer times 100. Yeah, imagine that they have some excavators and shit like that. Like they've already got the manure trucks. They got the harvesters, the tractors and stuff. Get something bigger. Get a mega dozer in there. Get some dump trucks and shit. Like, yeah, the cops shoot at the bulldozer. It's going to do a whole lot. Hits the treads, just fucking bounces off. Then hits some bystander, and then the cops will have murdered someone. It's interesting times for the Netherlands. I don't think you even need a killdozer, though. You just need to grab some construction equipment. If the construction workers were to join with the truckers and the farmers and the fishermen, it's game over for the government. At that point, they'll lose control. They could do a huge amount of damage. They don't even need to damage anything. Just park them in the middle of the freeway. I mean, how are you going to tow the bulldozer? That's not going to work. Team Cortex, hi, Sticks, love the content. I do Crash Bandicoot gaming content. Could I get a shout out? Thanks. Okay, if you want to see some Crash Bandicoot, we have Team Cortex on YouTube. People asking about my hair care routine. My hair care routine is leave it alone as much as possible. Only shower every other day, at a maximum, actually. Unless you get all greasy and stuff. You know, you go outside, you get all sweaty, it's 80 degrees. Never use conditioner. At this point, I've eliminated that from my hair care routine. I just use, whatever shampoo happens to be there and scrub it really well every other time. That's all you got to do. You don't want to dry out your hair by scrubbing it down over and over again every single day. That's the worst thing that you can do for your hair and for your skin, by the way. Don't sit there scrubbing yourself with a wool sponge, hyperventilating over the fact that you have a couple of dead skin cells. It's good for the microbiome that happens to be on top of your skin. Yes, KC Kilgannon, you're right. He said before, purple shampoo. There's some sort of purple shampoo. It's meant for blondes. It's meant to remove, I think, red undertones from the hair. So if you've got light-colored hair, you may or may not want to use it. For me, it makes my hair luscious, you know. It lightens it a little bit, too. You can see on the end, it's like a chestnut brown. On top, it's a darker brown. Scott Steiner, the world's greatest ring announcer. I can't wait for your child to visit her Uncle Sleazy. He'll teach her how to run a successful business. Also, Crackhead Storytime would be a big hit. Yes, there will be sleazy news as of tomorrow. You can probably guess what I'm referring to. Sparky, are Dutch wearing yellow vests to support farmers? I haven't seen any of that, but there's really no farm protests here in Anjouday. Ian Howe, there's a new Oregon Trail, but I believe it's exclusive to Apple's stupid game service. Well, there goes that idea. West, Sticks, speaking of hair, donate to Tim Pool, please. The Southern V. Sticks, if you own 100 acres, do laws matter? Yeah, because otherwise that 100 acres will get occupied by the feds, unfortunately. It shouldn't matter. You should be able to wall it off, say fuck you, and just do your own thing. John Hendy, are you familiar with Lucas Reimann, big-time member of the Swiss People's Party, one of the only right-wing populist parties in Europe with balls? I am not. I don't know much about Swiss politics other than there's a directly democratic component to it. By the way, we're almost at 10 Biden loser units. I still got a couple of stories to go through. Let's go into Joe Rogan really quickly here. Joe Rogan, links in the description as always, remember. Joe Rogan says he refuses to host Trump on his podcast soon after saying Governor Ron DeSantis would make a good president. After winning, remember a couple of days ago, Crosby, Stills, and Nash went back on Spotify. They slunk back because they wanted another payday, another fat paycheck. Having defeated the anti-Joe Rogan crowd that wanted to boycott Spotify, and Spotify must be laughing its way to the bank at the moment. Joe Rogan does exactly what I speculated that he would do. He's not far out there. He is on that fashionable Ron DeSantis is Donald Trump minus the madness train. So he's basically like Ann Coulter now. She's doing the same thing. She threw Trump under the bus also. Going along with exactly the bottom line of the legacy media. Here's the thing. Here's what I would ask. Ron DeSantis is cast off as being Donald Trump minus his insanity. But when you ask exactly how this is, you never actually get an answer. I do seem to remember that for the better part of a year, Ron DeSantis was considered worse. By the leftoids, I mean. Oh my God, COVID's going to kill every Floridian, et cetera, et cetera. Don't you think that it's a little bit odd, a little bit suspicious that all the same people that called him the devil before now are referring to him as the better version of Donald Trump? Yeah, we could deal with him. No, it's because they want to have Ron DeSantis as a primary challenger for Trump so that they slug it out. What they fear most is that Donald Trump simply grabs up the nomination without a primary process, because the Democrats realize that Biden will probably not run, necessitating a primary process. If you have one person who does not need to go through primaries, at least any considerable extent, they don't need to debate, they don't need to take time off to do ads against their enemies, they don't need to lose focus, they can just focus on hammering the Democrats. And the Democrats have 4 or 5 people angling in to try to run. Gavin Newsom, Pete Buttigieg, Kamala Harris, whoever it happens to be. It gives a de facto incumbent advantage, a slight advantage, yes, but an advantage to Donald Trump, who would inevitably be the nominee. Donald Trump is too far ahead for Ron DeSantis to be able to challenge him in a primary race. There probably wouldn't actually be debates. Trump would just say, fuck you. But he would have to make ads. He would have to spend tens, hundreds of millions of dollars. He would have to take time out of his schedule to address the issue. It would make the Republicans look more fractured. It would be seized upon by the legacy media. Joe Rogan has fallen into this same sort of canard, which is that Ron DeSantis, who's 30, 35 points behind, is somehow viable and would be a good idea. Also, do we ever get an explanation from Mr. Rogan about why Trump would be an existential crisis for the United States? No, of course not. It's just parroting CNN talking points. Oh, how lovely. Oh, sticks, proven right once again. He's working for a multi-billion-dollar company. He's making fucking 9 figures doing what he's doing. He's got a $100 million broadcasting deal. He has to muzzle himself, not completely, but at least partially, in order to stay on Spotify, or eventually they will axe him. Of course, he's got a good thing going. Why the hell would he want to have Trump aboard? He would get attacked again. And this time he might actually get the can. It would be beyond the pale to the Trump derangement syndrome people, many of which are Spotify subscribers. Of course, he's not going to do that. So once again, I was right about one of these jaded individuals, along with Coulter, et cetera, et cetera. You watch Mike Lindell, the MyPillow guy, will be in that crowd eventually. Another prediction here. People will call me out right now and say that I just hate him for his success. And then I'll say, no, he's smoking crack and not the good kind. And eventually he'll be part of the backstabbing crowd. You watch. You'll get to see it. Salty Keldian, what would you say are the biggest factors affecting gas prices? Is refining capacity or lack of a significant factor? Yeah, the other part is constant attacks on the U.S. Energy industry by the Biden admin. Putin's price hikes haven't even kicked in yet. You can add 10, 20 cents to the gas price in the U.S. That's the result of Putin. Everything else is ultimately lockdownerism, refining, and Bidenomics. Christrello, I have owned a business in central Denver for 14 years. During the lockdowns, I moved it deep into the mountains in a rural red county, and we make 40% more money because of lower overheads. Good for you. No wonder you could afford to donate. It's getting more and more uncommon as Bidenomics kicks the ass of everyone's savings. Loretta D, watch you all the time because you're rad. Very 80s reference. Bitchin', man. Ann Kelly 007. Happy MAGA month from New York. Yes, indeed. It is MAGA month. Hillary's third nutsack. Ann Coulter needs to use better shampoo for sure. She needs to have her Adam's apple surgically removed. Alden the Blue. The DeSantis 2024 thing is getting old. The Dems would love nothing more than to get him out of Florida as soon as possible. Folks like Rogan don't seem to understand that. That is the other part. You get DeSantis out of his position in Florida, hazarding that. You primary Trump, hazarding that. And you're astroturfing a person who, even in the 1 in a million chance he wins, would be easier to defeat than Donald Trump. He doesn't have the incumbency. He doesn't have the experience. He would still get called extreme, but he wouldn't have any of the benefits that Trump would have as a candidate. I think Trump should run, that states should suspend their primaries, nominate him immediately, and let him run. Cold Summer 91, do you think the people buying into the Orange Man bad narrative are shrinking? Yeah, they're realizing how shitty the economy and world situation is. And some of them are saying, well, I was told we would be in a depression under Trump, but it seems that we're moving in that direction at the moment. Trump doesn't seem to be president now, does he, at the moment? Yeah, Kyle G, not going to happen, Sticks. Lindell's loyalty to Trump in the U.S. goes beyond the financial. He doesn't have any loyalty. He's making money. Oh, no, I know. He got cut from some stores. Who gives a damn? He doesn't give a shit. That just allows him to grandstand more. How many times has Lindell come out and made a goddamn mockery of himself and undercut MAGA in the process by saying, don't worry, folks, we have the documents. In a couple of weeks, it'll all come crashing down. What are we on? The third or fourth time that bastard has done that? He's a con man. He's a crack-smoking con man with a huge amount of money. I see through him. It's sad that other people don't. He's basically like a goddamn televangelist. Anyway, we'll go to Eric Swalwell. Again, links in the description if you want to see something real fucking creepy. Now, keep in mind, Eric Swalwell is the dude who passes gas frequently on live TV. That's number one. He's had numerous affairs, including with a Chinese spy. This is proven. He did screw a Chinese spy. He was married at the time. He's a greasy, sleazy creepazoid. He's a creepy man. He looks creepy. He acts creepy. He once suggested that the United States population should be compelled to give up their AR-15s. And when queried about the pragmatism of this, he said, well, you can't stand up against nuclear weapons now, can you? Effectively insinuating that he'd be perfectly fine with nuking gun owners in order to disarm them. Kind of defeating the point in the process of saving lives, but Eric Swalwell is not an intelligent individual. He's a pervert. So he's got a picture here, posted without comment, he says, of, I think that's Lauren Boebert literally holding a rifle. And nobody quite understands what the point of it is. It has been ratioed massively. This is why Twitter no longer shows the number of comments down below. You have to go to the original tweet to see that because it helps to prevent people from understanding how unpopular it is. And I guess the insinuation, the insinuation is, here's this bimbo. She's posing with a gun. Let's draw a straight line, dude. Basically, this is responsible for what happened in Highland Park. If it weren't for all of these women with guns, it wouldn't be a problem. I'm thinking to myself, you just sound like a pervert. You've had affairs before, including with a Chinese spy. You appear to be under the control of the Chinese based on the things politically that you push. You're not a good-looking dude. You look like a tub of shit, actually, all greasy and fucked up. And you clearly have perverted interests. And now you're creeping on people that are, 10, 15, 20 years younger than you, and looking through their pics to try to score political points. And basically it boils down to, here's this bimbo, this hot chick with a gun. Well, that's more than we could say for you, Eric. You're disarmed because you have a small pecker. You have no testosterone, ergo you wouldn't be able to fire the gun because you'd jump in shock. Because you're a coward and a pervert. And probably other things too. I mean, I wouldn't put anything past a retard like Eric Swalwell. Carl Seltzer, will we ever see Tarl and Carl chat on Lotus Eaters? I'd like to do that sometime. That'd be fun. Mazeman01, any hope for actually reforming election laws enough so that the next election won't be the word we can't mention in the context of the 2020 election? We'll just say that the 2016 election was stolen. You're allowed to say that because Trump won that one. So they're already being reformed. At the local level, the Bannon's people are all over that shit. Defortification has already occurred in numerous states that were fortified before. So don't worry about that side of things. The reaction has already come, and it's underway still as we speak. Adam THM, Jack Posobiec is controlled opposition. I don't claim that. I just think that for some odd reason, he's like really into the Mike Lindell thing. And I think the people giving out promo codes, they must have gotten something in return. Otherwise, I can't imagine that they're doing it just out of the kindness of their heart. Here, hey, Mike, I'm going to help you sell more fucking pillows. Hand me a promo code and I'll put it out there and you'll make more money. That's not the way that things work when you're playing at that level. Astral Walker. Thoughts on CERN's Large Hadron Collider turning back on? Did we enter a new timeline yesterday? 4chan was having a field with this. Yes, 4chan has instituted 6 instead of just 5 characters on CAPTCHA. Oh my God. No, there's no timeline jumping and Mandela effect sort of bullshit. That's I can debunk that myself. And I think I already have an occult video on the topic of the Mandela effect. Jason Winnie, Tim Pool says civil war likely due to many similarities between how ours and other countries' civil wars started. Can you explain why you disagree? Yeah, because the majority of the population still has food to eat. The majority of the population live in echo chambers. So you got to understand, blue state, red state. Urban blue enclave, outsider, small town, rural area. They don't encounter each other quite so much. Why would they have a civil war? And by the way, how would the leftoids fight a civil war? They don't have the capability to grow their own food. They have far less firearms. They don't have the support of the sheriffs or of numerous state governments, which actually control the guard system. How are they going to fight? How is New York City supposed to fight a civil war? They can't even feed themselves. Once they run out of soy and the siege begins, it'd be a really quick civil war, I think. It's not like in the old days of the American Civil War in the 1860s when both sides could feed themselves and both sides had a lot of guns. Totally different. Yellow Airman. Check out a comic called The Wall from a July 1990 issue of Heavy Metal magazine. It's about Trump fighting the elites and is oddly prophetic. Haven't heard of it. Interesting. Michael Torres. Poso is Christian. Jack Murphy. Just wait. Kelikaku Kutin is taking farms away from farmers, what the Bolsheviks did when the communists took over Eastern Europe. Yeah, partially, but Pol Pot's a better example. They took people from the inner city with no farming experience and put them in the collective farm and then wondered why the rice wasn't growing. But in this case, in the case of the Netherlands, it's not an attempt to take the farms away from farmers and give them to other people to farm. It's an attempt to take away the farm, eliminate the farm, and then put up a bunch of condos. JWT6577, if I want an alternative to Trump without the baggage, there's already Noam out of South Dakota. She's the person DeSantis copied anyway. I wouldn't vote for her. No, she's disingenuous as well. I'm going to vote for Trump if he runs. Rand Paul is the gold standard of what I would want out of the Republicans for a candidate. And if Trump doesn't run, I beg Rand Paul to get in. If he doesn't, I hope that they kick Mitch McConnell out and get him in as leader of the Senate majority, which the Republicans will probably take, or even minority leader. Get Rand Paul in there. He'll do a better job. Give him that fucking experience. Let him run in the future. That would be great. Anyway, the idea that Trump has baggage is a big problem. Nobody cares about Trump's baggage, except for people that'll never vote for him anyway. Independent voters have swung massively against Biden and the Democrats. They don't give a shit about Trump's mean tweets. They give a shit more about the fact that on the 4th of July, they're paying $20,000 for a goddamn steak. We've got Ulfric Stormhammer 666 over on Rumble. Please comment on the massive Chinese data leak. I don't know about that data leak. I'll have to look that up. Ulfric Stormhammer. Oh, Jesus. Andrus Berzins, how awesome will it be when Cheney and the Sixthers, including witnesses, all line up on the South Lawn and take a bow to applause? With Trump on January 2025 when Trump wins. It's the show of a lifetime. Well, Liz Cheney wouldn't be there. She'll be out of a job. She's gone as of next month. She's being kicked out. The Republicans have primaried her. She will lose. She's at the mid-20s or upper 20s in support in Wyoming, of all places. God, if you're a Republican, you can't make it in Wyoming, then you're truly fucked. She'll end up with a speaking tour and probably a book deal. And she'll become a contributor to MSNBC or something like that. Marco G. Dems 2022 platform. High gas prices, high everything, supply shortages, healthcare, medication still expensive and broken, but January 6th, more important. Yeah, it's single-minded. They don't have any other. They can't even run on Roe. They fucked it. I'm honestly a little bit surprised that they managed to fuck up Roe v. Wade so much and make it a non-issue. Nobody's even talking about it right now. They pivoted back to guns because they did so badly. Emperor Soft Turtle, DOJ is suing Arizona for their election laws. Bad enough on its own, but razor sticks explain why they did this under Obama and lost. Oh, they'll lose. Arizona clearly has the right to make sure that people verify their identity in their elections. It's just a frivolous lawsuit. Adherent of Lady Columbia, years ago you predicted that traditionalism will win. But for how long as a period? I see small elements of the right that are looking to overstretch. Yeah, they are. Traditionalism is technically winning as we speak. Of course, I say this as a non-traditionalist. There's some aspects that I like. If you're talking about civic traditionalism in the United States, it's not far from libertarianism. What I see is the rise of zealotry, which is pragmatically unhelpful. But then the people that have those views will say you're a cuck if you don't side with them. By the way, no more super chats, please. I have one more news story to go through, and I want to cut it short a little bit today. Zim the Despot, someone I worked with, used to work for the CIA. Having been in the 4 different civil wars, he's flabbergasted at them since he said that civil wars aren't great times to be in. Well, yeah, of course, anytime that there's fighting going on, it's something no reasonable person really wants that, unless they've got bloodthirsty or something. Norm Kelly, would you ever do a show with Adam Green from No More News? Yeah, maybe. Okay, then we have a funny story. We'll wrap it up with this. Twerking state senator claims she is being targeted because she's queer and black. This is a story by Paul Joseph Watson over here. This means on Summit News. A state senator who posted a video of herself upside down twerking on a beach as part of her re-election campaign claims she's being targeted for being black and queer. 28-year-old Rhode Island State Senator Tiara Mack caused controversy after posting the clip on TikTok. Well, I think that's the most controversial part is you're a TikToker, which shows her performing the sexualized dance move while standing on her head before saying to the camera, "Vote Senator Mack." Yeah, I guess this is supposed to be about queer education and empowerment, or I don't know, sexual education. racial togetherness. We're seeing a lot more of this idiocracy stuff these days. You pointed it out that there is a similarity. I'm thinking twerking under, or even dancing. You know, AOC likes to do that. Pelosi occasionally does the shuffle too. What does that have to do with your actual political messaging? And did you not think, I mean, keep in mind the average audience on TikTok is under 18 anyway. So who the fuck's going to vote for you because you hideously decide to stand on your head and shake around like you're in a club? How many votes are you winning as a result of this? And how many votes is your opponent going to get when it goes viral? I don't think that this was well planned out. This is sort of like the new way of politics. And sometimes it works. Sometimes it's meme worthy and it's funny and it goes viral for a good reason. It becomes mimetic. Other times it goes viral for these reasons. And then you have to cover your ass, literally and figuratively, by saying that people only dislike it or are ridiculing it because of your sexual orientation and your race. I don't care if a straight white candidate were to do this, it would still be cringy and weird. And the fact that there are politicians on TikTok, by the way, is hilarious too. You're on a site that mainly caters to people too young to vote, and it's literally Chinese spyware. It shows your intelligence is not particularly high. So yeah, it's very, very interesting there. Gab455, hey Sticks, been listening for a while now and figured I owed you at least a 5 spot. Have a good one. Going right into the diaper fund. As everything else is, obviously. By the way, I think cross-platform, yeah, we're at 12 Biden loser units, almost 13. Nimble Navigator News on Rumble. Sticks, Trump seems to drift more Christian these days, yet I believe he's specifically using occult hand signs for subliminal influencing. Is Trump a magician? No, he's definitely got a bit of magic in him, but he's not an occult practitioner, no. I think he's a liberal Christian in the sense he was raised up with belief in Jesus. I don't believe in his I go to church and I love the Bible and stuff so much thing. It's really an old shtick that Republicans tend to do to get the evangelicals to vote for them. I love Jesus more than you do. No, I love Jesus more than you do. Well, your idea of Jesus is heretical. We've seen this before, big in the 80s and 90s especially. You don't see that as much among Dems, even if they're Christian like Biden. Really, it's more about washing the feet of illegal immigrants or being more woke. So they'll go to the atheist convention and tell them how they're basically the same as us Christians. Somehow the Democrats and liberals at large tend to be even more disingenuous than the goddamn zealots of the Republican Party. Josh Bardwell, Sticks, you mentioned previously the spoon in the background is from New Zealand. Have you visited there before? No, I've never been to New Zealand. I got that in a thrift store that's not far from here. They got all sorts of good shit, by the way. I got some gollywogs. Yeah. They had, you can't really get those in the United States. You put them in a store and all of a sudden people show up and they burn it to the ground. Here, it's considered hilarious. Sephirus Diapers. Thank you for the $5 in diapers. I need it. Noam is a rhino. $56 for a ribeye. There's you will eat less than 4 pounds of beef per year. China and Gates just purchased a shit ton of land in North Dakota. Nothing done. You're paying $56 for a single ribeye steak? Because I paid like the equivalent of $10 for a fairly good one. It's in the fridge right now. That sounds excessive. Where are you living? Are you in San Francisco by any chance? Lady Macbeth? Nathan Thompson sent $50. Thank you very much there. A little late, but congrats on the new baby. This is for diapers or energy drinks. Keep up the good work. I can buy both with $50. Maybe not when the inflation continues, but I'll put it to good use. Don't worry. By the way, at some point today, I should be getting those water chestnuts. Unfortunately, because of the farmer shortages, I couldn't get some of the vegetables now that I need for a stir fry, so I have to wait for that. I'm still waiting for the perfect stir fry. Water chestnuts, okay, that's number one. Green pea pods, which right now I can't get. Carrots, of course, sliced up. Mushrooms, optional, but always worth inclusion. Definitely lots of broccoli. That's all you need. Bamboo shoots are good. Baby corn is good. There are other things you can add. Put some sprouts on top towards the end. But the water chestnuts are one of the big 5 ingredients that must be in a stir fry for it to be not just good or great, which I can make already, but goddamn perfect. Astral Walker. I just want Joey Biden to poop himself on national TV before he leaves office. It will be legendary. You'll probably get your wish. Sparky, Restomod, classic Dutch windmills to generate electricity. Yeah, it would be nice if they would make the old style windmills and just turn them into electric generators. Probably just as efficient, and they look better. Corto Maltese, what do you think of the movie 1408? I've never heard of it. Also, if you haven't seen it, I lay this money at your feet and ask you to watch it. Best horror movie ever. I'll have to check it out. I like horror. John Hendy, your big picture descriptions of the paradigm shifting has given me the most possible hope in regards to Western society. Long life to you, Sticks. Yes, don't lose hope. If you find yourself losing hope, do something productive. Read another book, do an extra few push-ups, learn a new skill, grow an extra row of tomatoes. Do something to marginally reduce the misery in the world and marginally improve your own condition. Every little tiny incremental bit helps. And build up good habits too, especially if you're in your 20s. The best advice I can give to the younger people out there in their 20s, build good habits. Learn new skills and like them. Don't bother wasting your time on something that you fucking hate. Like, hey, I'm going to learn how to play guitar, but really I fucking hate playing guitar. Don't bother. Take the guitar and shove it up your ass, dude. Throw it out. Find another instrument. Find something else to do. Maybe you find out inexplicably you never did it before, but then you change a tire, you find out you want to go into automotive. That's what we should do. Yeah. Josh Bardwell, thanks. May I ask why you relocated to Europe from the US? Have you lost complete faith in Uncle Sam? Not an ideal place to raise a family, etc. Actually, it's a pretty good country for raising a family. I'm in both continents whenever I choose to be. I would point out, because there is a meme about me fleeing the United States, that I came to the Netherlands when the economy in the US was booming under Trump and months before COVID broke out. So no, I had nothing to do with fleeing. I got married to a Dutch woman. I wanted to establish residency. I want to be on both continents. It's pretty great. I want gardens in both sides of the Atlantic Ocean. That's my goal in life now. Salty Keldian, friend of mine is wary of AR-15s, believing citizens shouldn't have that firepower. Is the counter-argument so you trust the government with it instead? Good counter-argument. Or just telling them, hey, the AR-15 is not over-powerful, actually. Something in 308, and then you'll see a real exit wound. I want to get an M1A1 rifle now in 308. You can get those. They're a little bit on the expensive side, but they look sexy as fuck. With the walnut finish, not the tactical horseshit. That way liberals will see it. They'll think that it's perfectly, they'll think, oh, there's nothing wrong with this rifle. It's partially made of wood. Because they're fucking morons. They don't know anything about this. Yeah, Snoopy, he's married to an elf princess. Matt, I'm 20 and I work 7 days a week all day and I love it. Yeah, if you get a job that you love, like I have, yeah, you can work way harder. Get up in the morning, grab my caffeine, immediately go right to work. I get paid to read news. I'm going to do that anyway. Analyze politics, give my bloated opinions on things. Editing books. I fucking love books. Gardening. Hell, if I'm doing gardening work, I can make a video of that and I can put that up on the internet too. And you can save money on the food. Yeah, I want to get an M1A1 rifle. I've decided that I want to get that one as soon as possible when I'm back in the United States. Because it just looks good. Yeah, Anders Persons, M1A is a hunting rifle. Wink, wink. Yeah, nobody tell the liberals. Beachaz52, if Trump wins, is it possible to abolish the ATF? I would love to see the ATF abolished. Unfortunately, that is unlikely. Anyway, I think that I'll go off here. We're running up on an hour. So I've got other things to do. No food prep. I think Liz is intending to cook marmita tonight, which is, I'm not exactly sure where the recipe is from. I think it's Moroccan. And she's made it before, and it's pretty fucking good. So I can get a little bit spoiled when it comes to food sometimes. Michael Cricklow, I'm not sure about Rand Paul. He cucked on bail reform and appeared on CNN with Kamala Harris to promote it. Lawlessness without consequence. No, I support him on that, actually. Bail reform is a good idea. I would vote for him in a heartbeat if he runs. Anyway, yeah, I'll go off now. It's the time has come. That's about all. Peace out.